Hey guys, so Basil and I my cat, have been having some logistical issues, which still has not been resolved. So I'm going to do this on my phone, but here is the issue. Oh my God. So I had to move everything around so that I could fit the hammock in. And then, so I have the hammock. Hey Jen, I have the hammock, right? Very important. And then the dining room table, which is blocking everything. And then the palm tree. And then the picture. And so when I lay in the hammock, you can't see the picture or the palm tree. Dealing with past traumas. Yes. Aren't we all? Yes. I feel like this palm tree is attacking me. Okay, so yeah, let's get into that. I just set up the hammock, so this is like the first time really I'm in it. Okay, so let's get into that because I've been talking a lot about trauma and relationships and past things that have happened to us. Hey Brad, hey Tony. And how it takes a toll on us emotionally, but also how it eventually impacts us physically, and how that really has messed me up over the last, since September, that I've been going through physical therapy and rehab, and, well, I guess that's the same thing, and really working on a lot of the issues that have happened to me in the past. And I guess I want to go back to when I was in my 20s and I was suppressing who I was and what I wanted, and I wasn't allowed to really talk about what was going on for me. And when I was in that relationship, I decided that I had to forgive and forget, and that healing, I didn't really know about healing. And so what was happening is, because I was suppressing my emotions, I don't know how to use this yet. Because I was suppressing my emotions and what I wanted, I had to suppress a lot of my emotions. And so I just pushed everything down. And when you do that, when it finally does come up, when you finally let it out, it kind of explodes on you. So after researching affairs in men, as my family divorced and remarried within 6 months, but how do you deal with your marriage? It seems indefinitely is common, and we should just accept it in marriage. No, we shouldn't accept it. It seems 80% wife, 20% affair will accept this. Okay. So, yes, I did that for 12 years. I accepted it and thought that forgiveness was shut the fuck up, don't say anything, sweep it under the carpet. And I lived with anger and resentment and pushing that down for so long, which is, if you hear my story, I left in a fury. Like, I got a divorce, sold my house, and bought a one-way ticket to Spain. And I was so angry for so long because when you can't express yourself, when you can't be seen, when you can't be heard, then you feel invalidated, and you have to be seen. Like, being loved, being accepted, being in Like having friends. No, I'm not married. I'm single. Having like all of that, you need to have validation for your feelings. Right? Hey, Phil. Your feelings need to be validated. And the thing that goes wrong is when we accept a marriage that where we're not treated right, or we've been cheated on, and we don't actively work as a couple to heal that, and as an individual to heal ourselves. When we don't do that, then we're saying our feelings aren't valid, right? Which is why, if you are married or in a relationship, the woman will chase the guy down until she feels heard, right? And she'll keep going because we need to be heard, right? And understood. And that's Basil jumping. Basil. She's like, what is this? We need to be heard and understood. And if we're not, even if they don't agree with us, it's important that we're heard and understood, right? It almost doesn't matter if they agree, as long as they're like, okay, I understand. Yes, the hammock. I understand where you are, and I respect that. But because we don't really know how to have a relationship, we don't even know what a healthy relationship looks like these days. I've been getting a lot of questions on what is a healthy relationship. And let's just talk about anger. If you are angry and you're taking that out on your person, on your partner, and you're calling them names, lying to them, like that, I don't care how angry you are, that's not going to fly. I've never been called names. I've never been, like, no one's taken their anger out on me, right? We've gotten angry, but nobody's called me names. Nobody. And I've had, like, nobody, and I have a couple ex-boyfriends and an ex-husband, and even after we broke up, they were super respectful. And it's about the respect, right? Because if we're not getting respect, if we're not being heard and validating our feelings, then we're going to get angry. And we just keep pushing that down. And I pushed that down for 12 years. And it wasn't just the fact that he cheated. It was more than that. There was a lot of things we swept under the carpet. And the big problem was not him. The big problem wasn't him. The big problem was I wasn't validating my own feelings. I wasn't saying that what I felt was valid. Right? Because I was just like, okay, fine, this is what I need to do to be happy and to be in a relationship. I'm just going to shut up and compromise, right? But nobody gives us instructions on how to have a relationship. So one, hey Rachel, hey Jamie. One, we don't know how to have a relationship with ourselves, right? We don't know how to validate our own feelings. And when we don't do that, then we can't expect a partner to be there and validate our feelings either, right? You have to do that on your own. Hey, Darla. So it has to be you first validating your feelings. And if I did that, then I never would have gotten into a relationship with somebody that I didn't trust. Because I didn't know that what I was feeling was right. I didn't know what to do with it. I couldn't validate that for myself. I didn't understand that at the time. That was, 20 years ago. So, yes, we are now getting into relationships where we don't know what even a healthy relationship is. But the big problem is we don't know what a healthy relationship is with ourselves. So if we don't know how to have a healthy relationship with ourselves, how can we expect to have a healthy relationship with somebody else? Right? I'm going to have to figure out the logistics of this. Yes. Yeah, and that's why I tell my story, because I know it's universal. I know that there's so many of you that are going through the same thing, that you guys have had trauma in your past. You didn't know how to deal with it. You didn't know how to heal from it. You're still healing from it. You still don't know how to heal from it. It might be causing pain in your body. Trauma can breed trauma. Garbage and garbage. Yes. Yes, this was why we're getting into relationships, and then we're breeding more trauma. Very good point. And you guys are really... Where it hurts the most, I think, is... You too, Tony. Where I think it hurts the most is we bury our trauma, right? We think that it wasn't that bad. I thought mine wasn't that bad. Or we think we can handle it, or we've gone to counseling for so many years and we barely touched the surface of the healing. And we get into relationships, and then we're wondering why we feel neglected in those relationships, and why we feel unloved, and why we just can't get what we want. And this is what I talk about when I talk about relationships, and I post this all the time, that you have all these things in your life, but you're still not getting what you want. You still aren't getting what you want. You may have the perfect life, the perfect marriage, the perfect hammock. You may have all of these things, but you're still unhappy and you're still not getting what you want. Meaning, those things aren't going to make you happy. If you still have wounds from past trauma, that's going to come up. It's not, you can bury it, you can walk on just like I did, think you're okay, and you can be okay. But the wounds are going to come back up in broken relationships, bad relationships with money, your business, with working with your clients, that's where they resurface, in those things. And then if you want to have a healthy relationship, if you want to get to a point where you stop the patterns that keep coming up over and over again, you have to go back and heal that trauma. Because if you didn't listen to the trauma and heal from that, right? Which we didn't know how, maybe, most likely. We probably don't know how, which is why I help people with this. If you didn't do that, then it comes back up through relationships. And if you're avoiding relationships and you're just going to stay single, then it comes up through your business. And then if you avoid that, then it comes up it manifests pain in your body. So headaches, migraines, pain in your legs, which you guys saw, if you guys have been following me for even a minute, until it just gets really bad and comes up as cancer or something else. But the trauma wants to be healed. everything in your life is leading you back to the relationship with yourself. So to heal the trauma, you have to go back and have that relationship with yourself. And that's what I teach, and that's what I talk about. And that's what we do. I'm at home. So when you aren't getting what you want, if you can't be heard, if you can't be seen, which if you think about it, a lot of us are hiding. We're hiding in our businesses. We're hiding in a lot of ways, right? We are afraid to be seen, right? It was so hard for me when I started doing Facebook Lives, right? It was so hard for me to be seen and just do a Facebook Live because I was so used to not being heard in my intimate relationships, and I was so angry. I was so angry at the world when really it was, I was neglecting myself. So if you feel trapped, feel like people aren't listening to you and that you're not heard, then you're going to start to get angry, right? Even if you're like not an angry person, you start to feel that frustration and that anger, right? And maybe you feel depression for a while and then you feel angry. But that anger is really telling you that you need to pay attention to the feelings that you're not paying attention to. That anger is telling you that something's wrong. That anger is sending you a message. So if you ignore that message, which we usually do, we usually are like, okay, I have this depression, I have this anger, I have this feeling, and we think, okay, how do I flip it around? And that's great, but it's not going to, you're still ignoring it. You're still ignoring yourself, right? It's great to be able to get out of depression, right? But if you're ignoring yourself and this anger that keeps coming back up, then it's going to feel like you're not important and you're not listening to yourself, and it's going to get worse. So I know a lot of times what happens is we ignore our own desires. We ignore what we want. We put ourselves on the back burner. We put everyone else first, and we put ourselves last. Oh, we don't need to have fun. Oh, we don't need to eat healthy this week. Oh, we don't need to go to the gym. Oh, we don't need to do that. We need to do all these other things and keep up with the world and keep up with all the things that we have to do. And our clients are demanding things from us, and our partner is demanding stuff from us, and then we keep putting that on the back burner. Trauma, relationships, anger, all of those things are pointing us back to the core issue of you aren't listening to yourself, you aren't taking care of yourself, you're not validating your own feelings, you're not doing what's right for you. And then we get into these relationships where we feel neglected over and over again. But nothing's going to change until you understand your own value, you love yourself, you start listening to yourself and your feelings and taking care of that. once you start believing, once you start respecting yourself and believing in yourself enough to listen to those feelings and really pay attention, why am I getting angry? Oh, okay. So what do I need to change? But it's just basically what's going to happen is you're just going to have more and more pain until you decide that you are going to do something about it. Right? Which is why we have these negative emotions. Because they're telling us something. They're sending us a message. Which is why we have things going on with our body. Because it's giving us a message. And we still don't listen. There are people who get cancer and they still don't take care of the thing that caused it. Like, it's not really genetics. Like, there's only like a 4 or 7% chance that that's genetics. It's really about you taking care of yourself. And it's, the diet and exercise is important. But you attending to yourself, you validating your own feelings, you getting yourself into creating a life that you love and that you want to be in, that makes you happy. Putting a hammock in your dining room, right? Doing crazy shit because you want to, because you can. That's life. Life isn't about having a perfectly placed. Where's my dining? Here's my dining room table. Wait, where is it? I can't even tell. Wait, that's my dining room table. Oh, there is a. No, there's not a walkway. There's my dining room table. What's going on there? I got a lot of. And there's my beach picture. There's my palm tree. We're not living our lives. That's why we're angry. We're so frustrated and we feel trapped. And that's really why I bought a hammock and put it in my dining room. Because this is life. Not the reality that we're making it out to be. This go to work and do the right things. Yeah, do the right things, but we're making everything into a huge chore. No wonder we're angry. Right? Okay, so if you are on, say hi. And if you are on the replay, say replay, and then let me know if you have questions, comments, concerns, all the things. And if you are not in my Facebook group, The Revival, go ahead and join The Revival. And if you have not signed up for the retreat yet, then I will post the link below. Because the reason why we're dealing with so much anxiety, stress, anger, overwhelm is we're not taking care of ourselves. We don't really feel like we're living. We're not in relationships that make us happy and light us up. We don't put hammocks in our dining rooms, right? So if you have been putting off that vacation again, let's take care of that. Get in my retreat, The Revival. It is going to be May 9th through 12th in Ruidoso, New Mexico, and it's going to be epic. So sign up for that. I'm going to post the link below, and I will see you guys on the next Facebook Live.